All right, we're back from Gen Con 2019.
And let's talk about it.
Hey, welcome to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Rod.
And today we are doing our thoughts on Gen Con. So we made it back. We finally got settled. The dust has settled. Let's talk about it.
We have millions of thoughts about it.
We have lots of thoughts.
All right, so what's the first thing you want to talk about?
I want to talk about, okay, so right out of the gate, there's lots of stuff that we could cover, but I want to talk about Gen Con merch. Can we just talk about
That's
this
awesome.
for just a second?
That's awesome.
Now, I know that this might sound silly to some people because they've always had merch at Gen Con, but for me, and I hope that I don't offend anyone, so put this in the comments if you want, but every time I've gone to Gen Con, I'm like, man, I want to get a Gen Con hat, I want to get a Gen Con shirt or a jacket or something, and every single year, all they have were Gen Con dragons. Now, don't get me wrong, right? You gotta love a good dragon miniature, but I'm probably not the guy that's gonna walk around with a dragon on my hat or my shirt or whatever, and there's just nothing wrong with that, but it's just not for me. So when I walked up this year and they had a Gen Con hat that just said Gen Con and didn't have a die on it. Now there were some that had dies and dragons and all that kind of stuff, but when they had one that was for me, I was like, sold, I'm buying it. I took my money out right then, and that was the first thing we did. I think it was on Thursday or Wednesday I bought this hat. So.
Outside or inside?
Outside, yeah, which was great, by the way. I think that was one of the best ideas they had.
Sure.
Was to move another Gen Con place outside the building.
Fantastic, yeah.
Anyway, so merch was great. Which, side note, if I can, is another one of the things that I got so excited about at Gen Con this year was not just buying board games, which were awesome, but buying all the stuff that I couldn't get otherwise. Like the hat, you can buy the hat right now on their website, but you got to pay shipping. I got these geeky bits from Board Game Geek Store, but you'd have to pay shipping. I got a play mat from Skybound that I would have had to have paid shipping for to get this, or actually I don't even think they sell this but at the con. And so to me, I don't know, I kind of shifted gears a little bit and said, yeah, I know I can buy those board games anytime, but this stuff I can't get otherwise. So
Fantastic. Hey,
yep, there you go.
Spend some money, spend it on something you don't have to pay shipping for.
Yeah,
Right?
there you go. That's my excited thing.
So some of the things I was excited about. Well, let's talk food because I like food. Okay, let's just face that one right off. All right, so
we're talking food.
The food, they don't call them food carts, they call them food trucks. Okay, so did they food carts? So I know. Got a little banana or something, but it seems like they just had a million different food trucks there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just awesome. You could choose from anything. I loved the noodles. And I know it's just $10 for a pack, but it was good.
It was good noodles.
Enjoyed it. It was fast. It was great. That service was quick. And so I mean, the things like that I just loved. Also, did you get a chance to get one of those mugs where you get the refills?
No, but I saw it.
You get if you buy it, it costs a few bucks, but I think it cost my son $46.
No.
Anyway, yeah. Well, the mug. It was a deal you saved. I don't think it would probably take me a year to drink 46
today
dollars
only.
Exactly.
They got you,
but
man.
It was the mug and it was the soda and all you could drink and of course. But anyway, it was awesome. I mean, you spent some money, but it was awesome. All the choices you had. My normal thing is Steak and Shake because it's so cheap. This time we kind of opened up our palates a little bit.
I am so proud of this man.
Went to the mall, got the options at the mall for food. It was good.
It's a new world, isn't it, Rod?
It's a new world. And then at night with the Red Robin, it's a world, great world.
Yeah. But one thing I found out this year that I did not know, and this is so silly, but there's a way to get all the way from the convention center to the mall without stepping foot outside. There's like walkways, and you can go all the way around. It's amazing. So
wow.
You never once have to set foot on the street, so it's pretty cool.
Now my only negative to it would have been I can't get a Starbucks close enough. My brother loves Starbucks, so he was having to take the walk every single time. But because there's Starbucks about a couple blocks away.
Well, there's one at the JW Marriott, so he could have gone there too.
I didn't tell him.
But anyways, yeah. Way cool. Yeah, the food was awesome. And here's a pro tip for you: is if there's something that you really, really want, but the line is crazy long, maybe wait another day because they make the food truck swap positions.
Yeah.
And so your favorite one that's crazy busy because it's right in the best location tomorrow and might be out at the edge, and there might not be anybody there.
And this year we did benefit with the weather, right? I mean, it could
was
not
perfect.
have been. Yeah, we're perfect. It was awesome. It was fantastic.
Yeah. So.
All right. So what else are we gonna talk about?
What about the indie guys? Let's talk about the indie publishers.
So the one thing I noticed right off the bat was when I got into there. So first day I didn't get in there until like 10:15 into the hall. Trying to get my wife in a certain location. Anyway, it was a hassle. So I get there and I'm late, which I'm not happy with. Right? Jimmy's already got it in there and everything. But anyway, I get in there, and it's packed in the lines that we expect because people are getting all their freebies and stuff. But it definitely isn't, up front didn't seem real busy. But when I went back to the independent areas, wow, it was packed in those areas. And I know they spaced it out a little bit more because they didn't want to clog up the front end. But I really think those guys stole the show this year. Between them and the artists, it just seems like that's where everybody was at.
Well, what's cool, because you're right. Usually, as soon as you bust through those doors, and you do not run right into that section,
Exactly.
Once you get in there, it was always like lines and lines wrapped around. And there was a lot of that, but you're right.
Sure.
You know, I mean, even like Gray Fox Games was way off in the corner. Skybound was off. You know, there's all these different publishers that aren't right at the main front. And then even guys that aren't as big as them, you know, like what you're saying, some of the smaller guys that, you know, they're over to the side. And it was awesome to kind of feel like that side of the convention center was even a little bit more packed.
And when you had, and we actually had more entrances this year, didn't we? Because I mean, we had the 4 up front, then one on the. I don't know if they opened up that one at the side at the same time.
Oh, I don't know.
But so it seemed like they. Now, what do you think about them pinching off everything? What do you think about that?
Yeah, so this year they used to just as soon as they said go, they opened it up and everybody but everybody walked in through all the doors. Well, this year they kind of closed it off where you had to go through a central point to get through the whatever those things are called.
And they really checked badges.
Yeah, they really checked badges, and then once you got in, then you could flow in. But it kind of made everything not as whoosh, you know, and so that was cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it has to be done. They don't, you know, I would imagine a lot of people are trying to get in there for free themselves, right? But so I thought that was excellent. That all those independent companies seem to be getting a lot of business, which was awesome. One of the things too, and I know that last year was the same way, is that they're open to 6 instead of 5.
Right.
Because 5 was almost, you know,
that was so fast.
Yeah, just like before you know it's 5 o'clock. You go to lunch, you come back, and you had about an hour and a half, and then boom, they were closing up the doors on you.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, and I don't know when they started that, but yeah, it's been nice to have that extra hour in there.
And so, we've been ending up at the stadium a lot. At least I did this time. Every time late, and I love it over there.
Oh man, it's so
you
nice.
go in there, you walk over, you get yourself a table. So that's the one thing some people weren't doing. They weren't getting tables. So sometimes you get to your table and there'll be people at your table. So
your table?
Yeah, I know. I
like
claim
you own
my table. Why are you at my table? I'll do a Rod's Ranch on that. But but you can sign up for a table and you can reserve it for 4 or 5, whatever, how much time you want, and then so everybody hang out there for the rest of the night.
Yeah, awesome. That's pretty cool. One of the things that I really love this year, which has happened for like ever since they moved this to Gen Con, or to Indy. And maybe before then, is the card Halla. They call it card Halla. And so at the beginning of the convention, if you don't know anything about this, you can go in and you can build these card towers. And so this year, like, companies even donated cards to it. And so you go in, you build these massive card towers. And then at the end of the weekend, Saturday night, 10 p.m., you can go and they do this fundraiser where you throw coins to knock over the card towers, and then they give that money to charity. And I've heard about this for years, and every time I've gone to Gen Con, I come in on Sunday morning and I'm like, man, I missed that. And so this year I was like, I'm not going to miss it. So like 9:30 I show up to kind of get my spot for my video. And I'm telling you, hands down, this was the highlight of Gen Con for me, was watching this card Halla experience. And I cannot explain it to you other than it's this experience of, hundreds of people piled around this thing. They do this amazing auction where you raise money, and there's people upstairs and downstairs, and dollar bills are floating down from the ceiling as they pass this money in to raise money for charity. And then just the whole experience of throwing the money at these cards, and people are watching these big towers, and then they're cheering, and then the thing falls over and the whole place roars. Like, anyways, I could go on and
awesome.
on, but it was honestly one of the coolest experiences for me to see just everybody kind of rallying around this moment to raise money for charity.
Awesome. Here's a great experience for me. My brother got to go this year. He met us up there. He did the whole 4-day pass. He is before going there, I would consider a non-gamer. He'd only be doing games with the family type stuff, right? The only game that I talked him into buying was Dominion for his kids, so they could play it. But before that, he hadn't played games since we were kids. And the whole event, by the couple hours into it, he was already figuring out what games he was going to buy, that type of thing. Got into it. My sons made sure that he played every type of game, so he kind of get a feel for all the types of games, and he enjoyed it all. We just had a great time. He's already talking about going next year. So that's just kind of a neat experience.
Reel him in,
exactly.
Man. You hook that guy
Exactly.
and you're reeling him in.
But it's all about Gen Con. It's about the people. I mean, the people are fantastic.
Yeah.
Everybody's so friendly. That town just is so accepting.
It is.
Obviously, they're making money off it, but they are so accepting and they're so friendly about it. It's awesome.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
One of the cool experience we got to do this year was to go behind the scenes in True Dungeon. And so last year we made this little recap tour of Gen Con video, and they actually reached out to us and said, hey, you shot some video of the outside. Would you like to shoot some video of the inside? And so we got to go behind the scenes and check out True Dungeon, which is an amazing spectacle that they can even pull this off. They come in on a Monday, set up this incredibly intricate room. They have like 300 volunteers, and then they pull off this amazing event of sending all these people through these campaigns and going into these rooms. And it was really neat to see it behind the scenes.
Well, what's so awesome is we got to see the animatronics of some of the monsters and stuff, and that was so awesome. We got to see a couple of the people that were in the costumes and stuff, and they are so well done. I was just so I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was. And it was awesome.
Yeah,
very nice.
And I think every year we've seen the ticket prices, and said, I don't know, and then it sells out fast. Like I think they say it sells out on the first day.
Yeah, I think
I
think they said the first hour. So.
But not that they need any more publicity, I guess. But it's something that I think if we could say from that vantage point, it would be worth the experience.
Oh yeah, definitely be worth the experience. You get a group of people doing that, and that's what they said happens. Is that these people go year after year after year, and the moment that thing goes open for sale, they're in there buying it right away and make sure they got their time slot all set up. I mean, that's pretty neat. And they get to see each other every year, and this is where they see each other. That's a pretty neat experience.
And I think they had 4 or 5 places around the country where they do this. So you could even, if Gen Con fills up, I guess you go to another one and do that there. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, awesome. And there's something about another new one coming, but I don't remember the name of it, but just keep an eye out on that.
Yeah. So overall, my favorite Gen Con yet. I genuinely think it's getting better. The people I get to see every single year, building relationships, getting to do more and more things. I'm exploring a little bit more now, and I just love it.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, I've been to, I think we figured out how many now, 5 apiece or something like that? And you're right, it's gotten better each time. It's been fantastic. I mean, my daughter, who's never been, went on the last day, and she is very interested in going for the 4 days. And she's not a gamer in any way. She just loves all the atmosphere and everything going on. So that's fantastic. Now, let's just bring up something here that I wanted to talk about just real quick here is, how can we make the experience better? It is a fantastic experience in the first place.
It's amazing.
But the thing that I find, I'm always so lost. I mean, I feel like we're joking around, but I feel like a cat with someone doing a laser thing around, and I'm running from spot to spot, and I'm missing.
Here you go, Rod. Here you go, Rod.
And I'm missing 90% of it. I would just love to see some type of, when you're entering the hall, maybe there's monitors or something that tells us exactly what's happening in this hour, big, so you know what rooms to go to and that type of thing. So we'd see, because we saw a lot of the hall, but we didn't see much of all the other stuff going on. There's lots of stuff going on in that place.
Well, and I have heard some feedback from people that even run events, that they run an event, and the way that Gen Con does is they'll open up ticket sales for these events way back here, and then it's months later that the con actually happens. And so there's this disconnect from, I bought this ticket, at the beginning of the year, and now I totally forgot that I even bought it. Now it comes to the end of the year. So there is even a disconnect from people signing up for stuff, knowing where things are.
Right.
And I don't know, that just the scope of it is so large.
Massive.
I don't know what you do. I mean, that's a problem for people that are smarter than us.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it is a problem.
But yeah, that would be great if they start working on that. I mean, so I think about it like an airport, right?
Yeah.
Airplanes are going left and right. They're taking off. They're alerting you. Is there
Arriving.
Pathfinder. That's if there's something like that can be done, maybe. I don't know. But
that's a great idea, actually. If they just had TV screens, monitors everywhere, and you said this is what's going on right now.
Exactly, and maybe you had a window of up to about 2 hours, so that way you could plan something out a little bit too. So it gives you what's happening next couple hours, and you kind of like a TV, right? TV guide.
Now they do have the app, which there was an official Gen Con app this year, and that was better. But even then, it needs some kind of an autofill on it or something, because like if you didn't type the thing in exactly right, you couldn't find it, stuff like that. So, but I appreciate them maybe going in that direction of something in your hand.
These aren't complaints; they
Not
are
at all.
just well, I guess with the next level, because they're definitely on it. We've seen that. They are definitely on it. They have done some great stuff. It has gotten better and better, not just by our experience, but by the way that they're doing things. The hall expanding, that type of thing, giving us the football field to play at now. All those things have happened just in the last few years.
It's amazing.
So it's awesome.
And they've opened up some free events outside. Like there's open gaming in one of the hotel. I think it's JW Marriott on the 3rd floor. There's just an open room where you can just go and play 24 hours a day. That used to be a ticketed thing. Now I think you can go and just play.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
it's great. So, anyways, can't recommend it enough. You need to go to Gen Con.
Go
To Gen Con.
Definitely. So 2020, we want to see you guys there.
Yeah, let's see you there.
All right. Thank you.